Welcome to Jazz Piano Daily number 119. And now I'm going to show you a really cool way in which you could precede your 5-7 chord with its related 2 chord. Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this to you. All right, so we're going to utilize our There Is No Greater Love, and then take a look at yesterday's lesson. I'm still utilizing the tritone substitution. On the A, we're just adding in an extra measure going up to the C, and I am also playing around with the rhythm of the melody a little bit. I'm not going to play it super straight, all right? All right, so that's what we have right here. So now what we're going to do is, in this measure, on this G7, before we get to the C7, I'm going to precede this G7 chord with its related 2 chord. Now, you can really precede just about any dominant chord with its related 2 chord. But let's talk, first of all, about related 2 chords and what that means. All right, so if G is my 5 chord, okay, one way of thinking of 2 is if that's 5, I can count down 4, 3, 2, right? So that's 2, and then that's 5, and that would be 1, right? That's one way of doing it. Another way of looking at it is you're looking for the dominant motion that takes you to G. So anytime you want to find a chord's dominant motion, that's either the dominant chord that would take you to that chord or the minor chord that would take you to that chord, all you're going to do is go to the 5th of that note. So if I'm trying to find it for C, go to the 5th, it's G. Okay, so that means that a G7 chord would take me to C. It means that a G minor chord would take me to a C7. So if I had a C major chord, a C minor chord, or a C dominant chord, I could precede any of those 3 chords with a G7. So I could go G7 to C major, or G7 to C minor, or G7 to C7. Now that's not great voice leading, but just kind of demonstrating it to you. All right, now if I have a C7 chord, I could precede that chord with a G minor, taking me to C7. So G minor to C7, G minor to C7, okay? Don't worry if you don't fully understand this, okay? It takes a little bit of time to kind of get, have it wash over you, and you kind of figure it out as months and years go by. All right, so I'll tell you one other easy way of finding a minor chord to precede your dominant. That's my dominant that I'm trying to precede, the G7. Just count down 5 half steps from this note. Don't count the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means I could play a D minor 7, will take me right to my G7 chord. Okay, so now look at what happens when I do this now. All right, I'm going to just pull up the last 2 lines, or last line here. All right, so we have the original up above A flat 7 to G7, and then the C7. Now I can replace it with A flat 7 to D minor. So let me play that again. Let me do the whole thing. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Adding in that D minor in there just creates a little bit more motion. Now, why in the world do you want to do that? Because motion for jazz piano is our friend. That's what we're looking for, is motion. What we don't like is just kind of stagnant, just holding on a chord for 4 beats or 2 measures. We want to add stuff to it, so a lot of times we will add some new harmony, or we're doing what we call reharmonization, right? Changing around the harmony. All right, so now the question might also be, let's go back to our original. Can we do that for A7? Can we do that for A flat 7? Can we do it for C7 even? All right, I'm not going to get into the C7 one. That's a little bit different. Yes, you can, but let's focus on A7 and A flat 7 for a minute. So if it's A7, what would be my minor chord that precedes the A7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be E minor. Let me just write that in. I'll put E minor, and I'm going to go to A7. All right. What about A flat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be E flat minor, and then you're going to go to A flat 7. We already know sorry, hard to write that, D minor to a G7. Okay, so now let's listen to what that sounds like. I'm going to go slower. Whoops. So now the E minor and E flat, again, they don't sound so great, right? Well, why? On E minor with an F natural, right? So, no, the E minor doesn't sound good. Now, it's not because the harmony doesn't sound good, it's because the harmony, the E minor, does not work with the melody. Now, the E flat with the D natural, maybe you can make it an E flat major 7. That would be kind of interesting. Let's see what that sounds like. You can kind of get away with that. Maybe doing the E flat minor major 7th in there. But again, oops, sorry. You know, you can get away with it, but again, it kind of takes away from the melody, doesn't it? So in that case, I'd say, no, it doesn't work, right? So I would keep it as A flat 7. Right, so basically what we're doing is we're going back to our original, right? What we had here. So the B flat, A7, A flat 7, and then D minor. Now, for those of you, some of you are already thinking, wait a second, maybe that G7, we could replace that with a D flat 7, right? Because G7, that's our tritone sub. Let's just take a quick peek and see if that's going to work. Remember, what has to work with it? The melody needs to work with it. So let's just see. Okay, I can kind of see that. You can kind of get away with that. Yeah, you can play around with the voicings there, and see if you can come up with some better stuff. But yeah, you could kind of play around with that. And then, like I said, you could also do a G minor 7 in front of that C7. So. You could get away with playing that G minor 7 in front of the C7. But again, I wouldn't worry about that right now. Right? Sometimes we play around with stuff and it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Right? So I'm just trying to show you the process of reharmonization here. It's a fun process. Now, if you don't fully understand everything, that's fine. You don't have to fully understand everything. The only thing you really have to take away from this particular lesson is, hey, I got a dominant chord. I can precede that dominant chord, maybe, depending on the melody, with its related 2 chords. Right? And the related 2 chord is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 half steps down. All right? That's it. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. To get the first 45 pages of music for free, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com. If you liked the video, please be sure to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. To watch the rest of the lessons in this series, just click on the playlist to the right of this arrow. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.